All right, today we're diving into a topic that is, it's at the very heart of what it means to be human. Resilience. It's a quality we all admire, right? But here's the thing. It's not something you're just born with. It's something you can actually build. So let's explore the blueprint.
You know who I'm talking about. We all know people like this. They face these incredible, sometimes overwhelming challenges, and somehow they come out the other side even stronger. What's their secret? Well, you know what? It's not a secret at all. It's a skill. And this is probably the most important thing to get right from the start. Resilience is not some magic trait you either have or you don't. The American Psychological Association nails it. They define it as the ability to adapt well to adversity. And the key word there is ability, because that means it's a skill that anyone, and I really mean anyone, can learn and develop. This is a journey, not some final destination.
Okay, so where do we even begin? How do we start building it? Well, think of it like you've been handed a blueprint. There's a clear structure, a real framework we can all follow to build our own resilience from the ground up.
So research points to these 8 core themes that make up our blueprint. And look, they're all super important, but let's just zoom in on 2 that are absolute game changers. First up, finding meaning in adversity. This is all about shifting your perspective, seeing challenges not just as painful things to get through, but as real opportunities. And second, support and connection. We're wired to be social creatures, right? So reaching out for help isn't a weakness. It's a sign of our shared humanity. And honestly, it's one of our greatest strengths.
This quote just gets right to the heart of that idea, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that fundamental shift in thinking. The moment we stop asking, why is this happening to me? And we start asking, okay, what can this teach me? That's the moment we take our power back.
So, we have the blueprint. Awesome. Now let's roll up our sleeves and get practical. Let's talk about mastering our inner world, because that's where resilience is truly forged.
Think of it like you're training in 3 key areas. First, there's your physical resilience, how your body literally bounces back from stress. Then you've got emotional resilience, your ability to skillfully notice and navigate your feelings. And finally, mental resilience, that incredible flexibility of your mind to adapt your thinking. Nailing these 3 is absolutely essential.
Let's start with the physical. Now, we could talk about exercise or nutrition, and yeah, both are really important. But the absolute bedrock, the foundation that everything else is built on, it's sleep. I'm telling you, it's one of the most powerful and, frankly, wildly overlooked tools we have for our mental and physical strength.
And the science on this is just undeniable. The average adult needs about 8 hours of sleep. Why? Well, because that's when our brain gets to work flushing out toxins, locking in memories, and basically calming down our emotional centers. Seriously, making sleep a priority is a non-negotiable act of resilience.
Okay, on to our emotional pillar. Here's a simple but seriously profound technique neuroscientists call Name It to Tame It. When you're feeling totally overwhelmed by an emotion, anxiety, anger, sadness, just pausing to identify it and name it, even just saying it to yourself, literally quiets the alarm center in your brain. Just acknowledging, okay, I am feeling anxious, helps you get some distance and regain control. It's so simple, but it works.
And finally, our mental pillar, which really comes down to mindset. See, with a fixed mindset, failure is devastating. It feels like a final judgment on who you are. But with a growth mindset, failure is just information. It's a clue. It's an opportunity to learn and get better. Embracing this perspective is absolutely foundational for mental resilience.
This brings us to what might be the most powerful idea in this whole explainer. Reframing adversity, not as something you just have to endure, but as a genuine catalyst for profound growth. 2 researchers, Richard Tedeshi and Lawrence Calhoun, actually gave this phenomenon a name, post-traumatic growth, and their discovery was fascinating. They found that people don't just become stronger in spite of their challenges, they often become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate because of them.
And their research pinpointed 5 key areas where this growth happens. People talk about having a greater sense of personal strength. They see totally new possibilities for their lives, their relationships get deeper, they might experience some sort of spiritual change, and they develop this profound day-to-day appreciation for life itself. The struggle literally opens up new dimensions of their world.
So what this all means is that the very events we fear the most, the ones that feel like they might break us, often hold the most valuable lessons. They can become our greatest teachers if we let them.
This journey of transformation often follows this really clear path.
You know, it starts in the victim phase, where you feel powerless. Then you move into the survivor phase, where you start to realize you have choices and you begin to take back some control. But the final, most empowered stage is becoming a changemaker, using what you've learned from your own experience to help yourself and maybe even help others.
So, as we start to wrap this up, it's so important to remember that this isn't a one-and-done project. Building resilience is a continuous, lifelong practice. It's a journey you are always on.
So, what are the big things to take away from all this? First, resilience is a skill you can build. It's not fixed. Second, your personal blueprint is built on your values, your connections, and your mindset. Third, you really can master your inner world through practice. And finally, and maybe most importantly, adversity itself can be your most powerful engine for growth.
I really want to leave you with this thought. Don't think of resilience as some place you have to get to. Instead, think of it as the compass and the skills you use to navigate the unpredictable, challenging, and beautiful journey of life.
So I'll end with this question, which is inspired by the classic hero's journey. See, every hero, after facing their dragon, returns with an elixir, a piece of wisdom to share with their community. So as you reflect on your own challenges, both past and present, ask yourself this: what elixir, what piece of hard-won wisdom will you bring back from your journey?